Hi, I'm Shelly Bostrom, owner and founder of Align My Practice Consulting. And today we're going to go over 3 tips and trends to accelerate your practice growth, elevate your team performance, and maximize your success in 2023.
orthomarketing.com, 360-degree digital marketing solutions for your practice.
Well, hello everybody in podcast land. This is Dean Steinman from orthomarketing, and we are back with another podcast for you. And I hope everybody is healthy and well. It is springtime today, first day of spring, 2023, and I am very excited to have with me a very special guest. Today I have with me Shelly Bostrom, and Shelly is an orthodontic consultant. She's great. She's got a ton of great information. And I'm very excited to talk today with her. And we're going to discuss a couple of things about their practice and some tips that you could do today to take your practice to the next level and elevate your team. As you know, it's all about your team. So, Shelly, how are you today?
Hi, Dean. Thanks so much for having me. I am excellent. How are you?
I am terrific. Thank you so much. I'm excited. It's the first podcast that you're joining us on. So I'm really excited to have you as a guest, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
Thanks.
So let's just jump in. Tell us, who is Shelly? Who are you? And what do you do?
Hello, everyone in podcast land. I'm Shelly Bostrom. I'm the founder and owner of Align My Practice, practice consulting, team coaching and training. I have 20 years of experience in the dental and ortho industry. I've worn pretty much every hat in the office except for the doctors. I've gained lots of wisdom along the way, and it's with great joy that I'm truly just living my passion, being able to have the opportunity to empower practice owners and their teams in unlocking their full potential.
That's great. How'd you get into this?
You know, I've really always had a passion for, I've been in the ortho industry, like I said, since I got out of high school, and dental and ortho. And I feel like just as a business owner, in between my dental and ortho industry career, I really have a passion for just growing practices and empowering doctors. And I've had success in managing practices and being a successful TC, taking practices that maybe have some challenges. They're not able to reach their full potential. They need support and help of an expert. And so I started last year, and I work with practices all over the country, and it's very rewarding for me.
Isn't it? I love this industry. I like to tell people I'm in the smile business. My job is to make my customers smile, and their job is to make people smile. And as you know, when somebody gets their teeth straightened, white or better, it changes their life. And it's incredible to be able to see the transformation and to see how people's lives are being changed, and to be able to help practices be life changers.
For sure.
It makes me happy. I smile every day doing what we do.
Me
So
as well. I'm living my dream.
Exactly. It's good to live your dream. Dreams are, hopefully everybody's got them, and if you can live them, woohoo!
Yeah. My motto for 2023 is dream big. So I like to help practices just dream big and provide them with tools to make that happen.
Great. And one of my favorite songs is Dream On. So we'll get a little bit of that in the background here afterwards. So, when it comes to consulting, working with the practice, what have you found has been the biggest need for a practice now in 2023? What's the one thing that stands out, that like a sore thumb, that this is what you found as number one that practices are falling short and are needing help with?
Yeah. So, I think a lot of it is just aligning systems within the practice. I have a lot of doctors who reach out to me that maybe don't have a practice manager or a practice director, someone to really help them and support them, and they feel lost and they're stressed and they're losing sleep, and they kind of don't know where to begin as far as getting their team on board to fulfill the vision of the practice. And so I think that that's really just one area that I think just doctors and practice owners really do need support with. Doctors go to school to be amazing clinicians and don't always have the tools in place or the proper mindset to do the business part of the practice. And so having an expert consultant come in and help them kind of guide them towards success so they can focus on their patient care, I think is really key.
I agree. I work with consultants. As a consultant, I believe in them. It's kind of like people and, therapists have therapists, people, and, consultants work with consultants. I believe in having a niche and knowing what you do and knowing what you don't know is just as important. And you're right. These guys go to, if not to go to school to learn how to be a clinician and how to learn how to get teeth, but they're also running a business.
Right.
And let's talk about that. You mentioned staff. In my eyes, staff is the most important aspect of a practice. It's the lifeline. It's their touch to the patients. First thing people see or hear. So, what's one thing that you can suggest? Because we're today going to talk about 3 tips to accelerate a practice growth, to elevate team performance, and to maximize success. All right. So let's jump right in. So tip number 1, let's talk about, staff. I know it's hard to get your staff on board. I know it's hard for them to care. I can't tell many times I go to a practice and I say, "Oh, can you think you could ask for 1 review today? Just ask for 1. It's only one way to get a review as to ask." And they can't because the staff won't do it.
Right.
Or to take one picture for social media. You need 1 a week. You're ahead of the game, but they can't. So how do you get the staff?
It seems easy, right?
Right, doesn't it? And and I said in practice, let's count the 5 together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all it takes to take a picture or ask for a review. But obviously the staff can't, it's hard for them to break the mold. So how do you, elevate team performance and get them on board? What's one, bit of tip that you give somebody today to say, wow, okay, I could do that?
Right. So I think that something that a lot of offices don't do is really creating clear expectations of their team. So, and that comes from the point that you hire them and they walk in the door on their very first day. They need to have very, very clear expectations on what's expected of them, documented in writing, but make it fun. I think I think a lot of doctors are always in the mindset that they need to hire employees that have tons of experience. That's not my motto. I hire integrity, enthusiasm, passion for this industry. And I think if you hire the right people, the rest is really easy. They don't have bad habits, and they employees really do want to serve a greater purpose. They don't want to come in and collect a paycheck. They really want to want to have the ability to be creative. They want to have a little bit of ownership. So I love having my team members have a little side piece. So whether that's you're in charge of the website, you're in charge of external marketing, I want you to be in charge of our social media. But I think if everybody comes together and comes, together as a team, then they can make all of that happen and have a greater purpose on growing the practice rather than just coming in and, doing their checklist of, seeing patients or scheduling appointments.
How do you get this team to buy into change? Change is so hard. And if you got a advanced practice and the people have been with you for 4, 5, 6, 10 plus years, how do you get them to change and say, okay, I want you to do something else now? In addition, they'd be like, well, I'm so busy, doc, I can't do that. So how do you overcome that?
Yeah, it's challenging. Again, I think if you have the right team in place, they're going to embrace change, and you need to you might have a couple of employees that don't want to grow with your practice. And then you might have to have the tough conversation or tough thoughts about, are they doing what they need to do for your team? Are they serving you and your practice and your team and your community and fulfilling your vision the way that you see it? And sometimes you might need to have a tough conversation. And if that employee isn't on board to, grow with your practice, then you might need to free up their future and find someone who's ready to serve a bigger purpose.
What would you say would be the number 1 carrot to put in front of somebody or a team to get them on board? Because a lot of times financial isn't the answer. And so I have a lot of practices that they can't even find the right people, and they say they'll pay whatever it is to get a good staff member. They can't even find it. So, besides putting that dollar, thing there, what else can you use as an incentivization to get the team on board?
Yeah, so I love incentive-driven practices. So I actually do teach that to my doctors as a team, as a TC, as a practice manager. Money talks. It doesn't have to be some astronomical amount. It needs to be a genuine service that the employee is providing. But I love team-based incentives. And but I guess another carrot is you really just need to make sure that you show consistent value to your team. So that's team building events, that's team, training. You want to be able to help them grow personally and professionally. And I think that if you make that a huge part of your practice, it is going to bring your team closer together. They're going to want to have each other's back, and they're going to see what the greater purpose is.
Can you give a couple of examples of some team building events that you've put together that have been successful?
It could, I guess you really need to chat with your team. I often have the team members make suggestions. It could be simple things, going to one of those, cooking kitchens where you prepare a meal together. It can be an escape room. It could be bowling. It can be, you have a nail salon on wheels that comes and gives manicures to the team. So there's, all sorts. I've done where I go to, so I'm in Orange County, California. So I've done team building events where we rent a little Duffy boat in Newport Harbor, and we, bring food and drinks, and, it's just a time just being together outside of the office.
Great idea. Now let's talk about another tip. So the first one is to get your team on board and embrace them. Yeah. Now, the next is change in technology.
Yes.
Technology. If you listen to my previous podcasts, I constantly am saying the term adapt or die. If you don't adapt your practice to technologies, you're dead, and you have to do so. When I was at the Invisalign Summit several months back, their whole theme was embracing technology and digital transformations. So what 2 technologies would you suggest a practice to be looking into today that can potentially make their life more efficient, effective, and better?
Yeah. So, yes, definitely embracing and adapting to technology to better serve the patient's needs is super important. I will tell you, I am an old school TC and practice manager, old school business owner. So I like phone calls. I like in-person consultations. I like handwritten thank you notes. I like shaking hands. So even me, it was a challenge. So I understand that doctors might be resistant to embracing technology. We don't do it that way. We don't work on Saturdays. Well, you can technically work on Saturdays because you can do virtual consultations or some type of a hybrid option for your patient. So I think technology for me, I love the iCAD CBCT. I'm a big promoter of airway-focused orthodontics, and the CBCT is truly a game changer. You still have your, pano and your Ceph and all of that, but it allows you to see so much more, which we're going to talk about a little bit later today about practice niches. So I would say if you're able to get a CBCT scanner into your practice, it is truly a game changer for treatment planning, and overall patient experience and efficiency.
Right. So let's go right into that. It's a great segue. So, to adapting technology and looking outside of your lane, it's important to be able to move, and if you stay in your lane, you might be stuck behind an 18-wheeler and you're never going to get where you want to go, So let's talk about how to adapt the practice and find the niche in using technology, because it all works together,
For sure.
So let's talk a little bit about, the suggestion that you make as far as getting a niche or finding one, and then how to implement it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I definitely think that finding a practice niche or niche is super important. That's different than a specialty. So as an orthodontist, that is your dental specialty. But a practice niche is really finding something that honing in on a specific need or service that's tailored directly to your patients. So again, as I mentioned, I have a lot of experience in growing practices from an airway focus perspective. That was our niche. And, maxillary expansion on adults, avoiding surgery, things like that. So find what yours may be. It may be correcting gummy smiles with TADs. It might be alleviating pain through TMD treatment. Maybe you want to highlight that you are a non-extraction practice. So finding what you're passionate about, success that you've had within your practice clinically, and then you need to hire somebody like Dean to help market that niche. So then again, making sure that it's apparent on all of your socials and that you're building that social platform and social proof that you have patients who are talking about it and creating that buzz within your community. So, I love patient video testimonials. So if you don't have a YouTube channel, get a YouTube channel going and get those patient testimonials that talk about how life-changing the treatment was. Let's say, I can breathe so much better now. I don't have any migraines because my TMJ joints are positioned properly. So just making sure that you are doing yourself to really set you apart from your competition, and yet you're not just straightening teeth.
Exactly. All right, quick quiz for you.
Beautiful.
What is the number one way to get a testimonial from a patient?
Ask.
Thank you. That's all you got to do, guys, is ask.
Easy.
That's it. Okay. All right. It's not rocket science here. Ask. Okay. If you ask 10 people, 8 might say no, but you're not going to strike out 0 for 10. I guarantee you will get at least 1, 2, 3 people say sure.
Right.
And that's a game changer. And when you mentioned social proof before, I can't say how many times I've mentioned this to clients. I can't count that high of how important social proof is.
Right.
You could crow to the cows come home how great you are, and you're the number one provider of this, and you've been doing this and that. But if your patients are the ones who tell their friends how great you are, that's
it's the bandwagon effect. That's
exactly
been happening forever.
Exactly. And let's talk about community involvement. Most practices are in unless you're in a major metropolitan city, you're in a community, you're part of a fabric of a community. So what's one tip that you could suggest today to be involved in a community?
Absolutely. So, I think that with COVID, I don't really like talking about COVID, but it happened, so we need to talk about it. But I think, COVID took away a lot of opportunities for you to get out in your community and connect with potential patient families, market with other businesses and things like that. And I think people right now they're chomping at the bit to get out and connect and be out and get fresh air and meet new people and listen to live music and, things like that. So I think connecting with the community is super important. And there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. So I'm sure that you talk a lot about, Dean, the marketing sales funnel. And a huge part of that is that little phase of the funnel, which is the patient interest. So patient interest is where a potential patient shows interest in your unique services. And this is where community comes in. So the patient realizes that they, have a need or they have an interest in orthodontics. And again, you, Dean, you've got your amazing platform of all of your, getting them all of that awareness online. And community kind of fits into that piece as well. So making sure that you're getting out there. This is different than your, branded doctor rewards program. This isn't going to doctors' offices and dropping off a batch of donuts. Right. This is connecting with your community, with your schools. So a couple of successful situations or scenarios that I've had are giving back and volunteering through local charities and nonprofits in your community. You could also award a scholarship or start a pay it forward campaign. You can connect with your local school's PTA and sponsor water bottles for their jogathon. You can invite a Girl Scout troop into your office and have them earn a badge. And you've got 12 ready little girls and their parents coming into your office, having a great fun day, earning a patch or a badge. And you've got that instant connection where you can introduce them to your practice and the wonderful services that you offer.
Great. Love that. And I always tell my clients the same thing. You have to be involved. You have to, put yourself out there. I'll get you at the top of Google. There's no doubt about it. And I'll get you, on social media. But from there, you got to help me help you.
Yes.
And you have to be out there. You're part of the community, guys. So it's a real important to embrace, some of these tips that Shelly mentioned here. So I have 3 final questions for you. Okay. Question number 1 is, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, get more information, learn more about you, what's the best way to do so?
Oh, thanks.
Right?
So you can reach out to me on my website, which is alignmypractice.com. I'm on all the socials, so LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. So you can always message me that way. I am super excited to be at AAO. So if you're going to be at AAO in Chicago, I would love to meet you. Booth 872.
Great. Okay, now the 2 most important questions. All right. What is Shelly binging right now?
What am I binging?
What are you binge watching?
I just finished 1883.
Ooh, good show. Okay.
Yes, fantastic. I cried my eyes out on the last episode.
Right?
And I'm watching Tulsa King right now.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm a big fan of that one. Stallone. Boy, I hope I look half as good as him when I'm 60 versus 75. Right?
Yeah.
All right. And the most important question of all. Okay. I just got a text that an asteroid is hitting Earth in 8 minutes from now.
Oh my gosh.
What's the last thing Shelly's eating?
Oh, what's the last thing I'm eating? Shrimp.
Oh, okay.
I just spent some time in Georgia and had a lot of fried shrimp. It was delicious.
So
I would say shrimp.
Ball shrimp, lemon shrimp, barbecue shrimp, peel and eat shrimp. So what kind of shrimp? That's my Forrest Gump there for you.
I actually saw his bench.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes,
Nice.
and the part that scene was filmed, so it's funny.
Nice. Okay. So she's a shrimp girl. Sure. All right. Shelly, thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Guys, it's real important to listen to these advice here. She knows what she's doing. It's something that I've mentioned many, many times, to get involved with the community, to adapt to technologies, and to have your staff as a big part of your practice and get them on board. So if you do this, we know that this will work and change the practice. So thanks so much, everybody, for listening. Everybody, be happy, stay safe, and keep smiling. Listen to our next podcast, and you'll get some more great information. Thanks so much, Shelly. Appreciate it. Okay.
orthomarketing.com. 360-degree digital marketing solutions for your practice.